So in our last video, I was showing marketing samples and marketing budgets and marketing ROI. This time, I'm going to be talking about business development. For some companies, marketing and business development are part of the same department, so you may have to combine these for your business. But let's say that they're separate, and I'm going to just talk about business development. So, similar to our set budget amounts that you saw in the marketing spreadsheet, we have here the same for salary. You have a base, you may have a bonus and commission as a business developer. You also have the benefits, again, laptop, phone, external storage, anything like that. And then again, if your company does a company annual meeting, they may have that shared across every department that's accounted for every headcount within the company. This is where we get into discretionary budget for business development. So I have here under client acquisition, business developers do client meetings, entertainment, travel costs that is related to trips, to mileage, things like that. You may actually run a referral program at your company if business development does not run that referral program and it's under marketing. So then that line item that I have here would actually be under the marketing budget. And then you also have organization membership. And I don't mean as an individual being a member. This is really for the company being a member of an association or something along those lines. So it's really from a business development standpoint for those types of membership. Again, technology. So again, on the marketing budget, I have CRM, I have project management platform. The CRM may actually be a shared cost between marketing and business development. Your project management platform, if you're using the same platform, may be a shared cost. It's going to be based off of the license count for each department, things like that. But you may have those costs within your business development budget as well. We also have in here employee training. So again, for business developers going to professional development, conferences, courses, doing anything like that. The travel costs here are separate from the travel cost up here because one, how you do business taxes, they're taxed differently. But travel costs for education, it's a real thing. You do an account for it, but then you may have a lot more travel costs for client acquisition, and you want to make sure that you keep those two separate and that your finance team is accounting for those separately. And then again, if business development's using consultants and freelancers, you're going to account for that here. And again, big proponent of employee morale, making sure that you're putting that into your budget. So I did do a sample of what a business development budget may look like. So this is, I'm using this based off of one person that's a business development for a company. If you have multiple business developers, if you have a team, this, of course, is going to look different. These are just plug and play numbers. You can play around with it however much you want. So right here, I have the base salary is 110 just to keep it simple. I'm saying that there is also a 10% bonus option, which would give that person $11,000. We also have the benefits here. Again, I'm keeping this the same, coming over from the marketing budget. And then also the same for the laptop, the phone, the external storage. And then again, making sure that the taxes are aligned up here. And on average, taxes per employee is going to be about 15%. So that's what this number is based off of. We're going to get to the revenue impacted and the ROI a little bit later. So what I have here, let's just say that we're budgeting $25,000 for client meetings, client entertainment, travel costs, all that stuff. The difference between marketing and business development is that business development has a closer relationship with the revenue being generated. It's more of a one-to-one transaction where marketing is communicating to the masses. Business development is really trying to communicate to maybe a project owner or a university, a healthcare system, anything like that. So it's a little bit easier to track. So I'm going to have over here a lot more of the revenue generating from their activities. So this is also something that should be tracked within your CRM or wherever you're tracking this type of activity. But you can see here, again, plug and play numbers. I'm saying, hey, we spent $25,000 on client meetings. Maybe this is going to their office or maybe to their project site and saying, we're going to be able to generate $12 million from those types of interactions. What we don't want to do here in revenue is saying between the client meetings and client entertainment, it's $12 million, but we're going to allocate $2 million of that to the client entertainment. What I want you to think about is how much net new revenue was generated. So if it was, say, $12 million from client meetings and $2 million from client entertainment, then we're actually looking at a $14 million revenue. These are not the same dollars, so to speak. So I want to make sure that we're tracking those individually. For client entertainment, that may be like, hey, we rented out a suite at a sporting event. And in that suite, I had a really good conversation with a client. And, they told us that they have a bond package coming up and that we should go to all these meetings. And from that, we did all that work and we landed some work. And from that, we got $2 million in revenue. That is a perfect example of how we are tracking revenue on the business development side. And again, simple math of what was your revenue and how much did it cost to get you to your actual ROI. So if you're curious about the ROI, what it is the revenue generated minus what it costs to get you there, divided by what it costs to get you there. So this is $2 million minus $100,000 divided by $100,000 gives you this 1,900%. You're probably not going to have revenue generated from travel cost, and that is okay. Not every line item needs to have revenue generated, but you do, wherever you can, track revenue. You want to, but there's going to be some line items like this that you're just not going to be able to. This is another great example of a referral program. So if you have, a really good referral program, you have happy, satisfied clients, you're doing client surveys and feedback, and you're able to take that information and turn it into additional work. This is a great way to track that referral program and saying, hey, we got a 4,900% return on our investment for that. And if I'm looking at that as a business leader going, you know what, I actually want to put more money into our referral program and maybe less money into client entertainment so that we can see more of that return on that investment. Same thing with organization memberships. If your company is a member of a professional association, you're hopefully going to be generating revenue from that. You want to be able to track that as well. Again, with CRM, the CRM does not generate revenue. I'm going to say this again. It's the data within the CRM that allows you to go after more clients in a very specific way. So making sure that information about projects is inputted correctly, information about your clients is inputted correctly, because then you can take that information, your marketing team can take that information, create segmented lists, create hyper-personalized content that's going to get someone to work with your company faster. Project management platform, from a business development standpoint, I would like to see this as generating revenue, because I want to see, like, are we staying on top of follow-ups with customers? Are we staying on top of making sure that customers are giving us feedback? Are we staying on top of debriefs? I want to see all of that. And I think that would fall within this project management platform. Again, if you have an analytics platform, I want to see the same thing there. Are we being efficient with our time? Are we being really good stewards of the data that we are able to create and then turn that around into additional revenue? And again, I mentioned here the client feedback form. This could be part of your analytics platform. But again, using that data in a very smart way to generate additional business and revenue for your company, that's where you want to track it here. And you can see, again, I know these are plug and play numbers, but you really get some high ROI from this. It doesn't include profit, and that's a whole other conversation. But whenever you're just looking at ROI and going, where should we be spending our money? This starts to show a roadmap pretty clearly. Now, again, for here, you're going to go to a conference. I want you to bring education back from that conference that's going to turn into revenue for the company, and you want to be able to track that. And again, if you're a member of professional associations, that should lead to teaming opportunities. That should lead to lessons learned from other people before you have to stub your toe and lessons learned on your own. So I think memberships can generate revenue, especially for business developers. And then again, if you have consultants and freelancers, and this number is probably low for that, but if they're helping generate revenue, you want to be able to capture that here. So what I have here is that if we're doing an apples to apples comparison, and the marketing sample I gave was almost a $14 million revenue number, on the business development side, this is almost $22 million. The same company, same team, let's say it's all an apples to apples comparison. And you're going, Julie, how is marketing showing a $14 million revenue and business development is showing $22 million revenue? Because remember, business development has a closer tie to the revenue numbers and knowing where that's coming from. So I do expect that to see a higher number on the business development side. Doesn't mean that you can get rid of marketing and business development is going to be rocking and rolling. Marketing is still a huge part of that. And can't get rid of business development and just rely on marketing, because business development is there to close deals and make sure that the clients are happy, and making sure that your teams have enough projects in the pipeline to make sure that the company is still functioning. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't mean like this is a total revenue for the whole company. Based at these numbers, if I'm saying this is net new net new customers, this may be a company that's actually generating, let's say, $200 million a year in revenue. And this individual business development person is generating 10% of that as net new. And again, those numbers fluctuate. I'm just using generalizations here. But whenever I look at this and saying, okay, we have $312,000, almost $313,000 in discretionary spending on the business development side. So if you need to cut budget, or if you need to reallocate money, that's about what you're working with here, is this 313,000. In total from business development, including the set cost, you're looking at just under $500,000 of company expenses. But you also see here the high return on the high return on investment. So these ROI numbers, this is just for your discretionary spending, which is great. And then this is a total for, what you're achieving. I have these numbers up here. So this is just based off of your set cost, what that return on investment looks like. Granted, I don't put a lot of weight in this area. It's good to know. So as you track it over time, over history, if that number starts to fluctuate, you can really dig into what's happening. But really where we're getting at is for your discretionary cost, how are you spending the money? Where are you spending it? And is it a good use of company dollars in your time? So from a business development standpoint, there's a lot more nuances within here. Again, if your company combines marketing and business development, your spreadsheet's going to be a lot longer, because it's going to include everything from the marketing budget that I created. And in addition to the business development side, you just want to be able to make sure that you're tracking them differently, so that you know how much from a marketing mass communication standpoint is working versus business development, which is more one-to-one.